Get our check.
Black first, my brothers and sisters, welcome to the Afro Elite YouTube channel. I am your host, Afro Elite. We have a very, very special broadcast for you, one of a kind. Nobody has ever done anything like this before. Today, Juneteenth, is the first day it will be done, and this will hopefully become like a Juneteenth tradition, an FBA Juneteenth tradition. So I do a lot of talking. I do say like, comment, share, which you guys should do that. You guys should have already did that. Like, comment, share. Also, we have a bunch of other FBA panelists and YouTubers who are coming onto the stage. I want you guys to subscribe to every single last one of them and follow them on their various social media pages. But without any further ado, I am going to start bringing them up, and we are going to have our very first FBA Juneteenth Power Hour for you guys, for you brothers and sisters this evening. Introducing our first guest, our good brother, Torian. Torian, how you doing? Happy Juneteenth, brother.
I'm doing well. Happy Juneteenth to you, B1 to you, and everyone else in the chat, B1, and happy Juneteenth to them. I already shared the stream on my page as well, so hopefully it's going to be some more people that's going to start coming on in, from my page and subscribe to this as well, because they should definitely be a part of this as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And despite all of this righteous black masculinity that we have to always balance it out with some divine femininity. So none other than our wonderful, beautiful sister Zizi is here with us.
Hey, peace, B1. Happy Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth. You know, we don't roll without this brother. This brother has earned so much respect from everybody in the community. So it would be a shame if I did not invite him here. We have our brother Sage. Sage, how you doing?
And Sage is muted.
Black first, family. How's everyone doing? Shout out to my brother Torian, my queen sister Zizi. Much respect to you, Afro, as usual.
Much respect. And y'all know he's got to be here. I couldn't have done this without him. He has to be here. It wouldn't have been complete if he wasn't here. Let's give a warm applause for our good brother, Black Alpha.
What's poppin'? What's poppin'? Happy Juneteenth, family. Let's go to work.
Let's go. Okay. So we are here. This is the first time we've ever done this before. Hopefully we can start off making this a tradition. We can start this off making this a tradition because we don't have holidays of our own, because everybody tries to capitalize and colonize off of things that we do and things that we have built. So now we're going to start branching ourselves off. Now we're going to start making our own traditions, which stamps our turf, which marks our turf, and makes this our own undefiable, undeniable holiday that nobody else can colonize, nobody else can compromise on. So to start this off, for the people who might not, be aware of certain people, I'm going to ask each one of you guys in just any random order. You guys can introduce yourself, and you guys can talk about a little bit about what you do and what your platforms are about.
Ladies first.
Thank you. Well, my name is Zizi. My channel is A to Z TV, and it's pretty much just me doing social commentary or a little bit of political commentary from a B1 perspective, focused on Foundation of Black Americans specifically. Yeah, that's pretty much that. My channel.
Okay, beautiful, and love to hear it.
Well, I'm Torian Rain Reloaded. You can follow me right here on YouTube at Torian Rain Reloaded. Your same name, Instagram and Twitter. And I pretty much do the same thing that ZZ does. I think for the most part, we all kind of do almost the same type of thing, like, social commentary, different, trending topics, and from our perspective of what's going on in the world that mainstream media either does not touch or they halfway touch. And we just, give our perspective on it. And that's pretty much it.
Okay. Much respect to you, Tori.
My name is Sage. I like to write poetry, and also I like to write music and express my feelings, obviously through a Black first image. I like to speak truth to power, and that's how I've always lived my life. You can find me on Twitter as well as Instagram. I don't necessarily have a YouTube page, but I do follow all of these brothers, including my sister, to get all the information that I need on a daily basis. So, to all the people that are here from my side, I would say definitely subscribe to all of these people. Every day of the week, they're always giving you some heat, some new information, and we all know knowledge is power.
Yes, sir. Much respect. Alpha, you
It's
got
on
it.
you, DMX.
Yes, indeed. I am Black Alpha. I'm a Leo. No, I was playing. I'm Black Alpha. I don't like long walks on the beach, but no, I'm Black Alpha Network, social activist, political activist. Everything is real. If it ever goes down with our people, you know I'm there. Y'all are used to me. Y'all know I'm everywhere. I'm pretty much on my Alpha Cast every Tuesday, cussing the hell out of supremacists, you know, left and right. But, you know, just keeping it B1, keeping it certified all the time. And I support everybody here. I support all the whole family. So let's go to work as always.
Yes, sir. Okay. So now that you guys know what each other does, so you guys know the audience, I have listed all of their information and all that stuff in the description below. So you guys should be able to follow them on their various platforms. Also, too, they will be giving themselves a shout out to their, you know, Twitter and their Instagram and all that good stuff. So tonight, which I want you guys to stay for, the audience, I want you guys to stay for it because I have a little game I came up with. We're gonna play.
It'll be a good game.
Yes, indeed. Okay, it's a game. I ain't told nobody what the game is because I don't want them to prepare for the game. You know, it's got to be surprise for them.
Okay.
It's got to be a surprise. But it's gonna be a fun game. But before we do that, we have to start off with a little bit of information, a little bit of empowerment. I want you guys to really get the sense and spirit of these individuals here. So I am going to pull this article up that I saw and I'm going to read it and then we're going to discuss it because we know how Juneteenth leads us into a conversation that we're all very active on, we're all very aware of, which is reparations. Okay, we understand that there was a big reparations task force in California and there's been a lot of discussion based around that because people feel as if the California task force will set the precedent for reparations across the nation. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring up this article and I'm going to read that. You guys can stop me anytime you guys feel you need to, or you can wait and hold your comments till afterwards and then we can have a discussion. And I'm doing this because I want the audience to have a sense of how well the conversation can flow among us and how our opinion is. I wanted to talk on this myself, but I actually decided to save this for this day. So without any further ado, let's get started. Okay, it pulls up. All right, there we go. Don't fail me now, computer. Okay, now it says Black Californians have broader view on what reparations could be, not expect cash payments. All right, now here we go. It says, I don't know if you guys can see, but I'm going to read it anyway. Local leaders are calling for moderate expectations for what reparations will actually look like for Black California residents. California is one of multiple states negotiating over economic reparations for Black Americans whose ancestors were victimized by the Atlantic slave trade in its aftermath. While the state of California is designed as a free, while the state of California was designed as a free state when it joined the Union in 1850, their plans include restrictions for actions like redlining and policing of the Black community in the past. Wall Street Journal reported that California's reparations task force is prepared to issue a nearly 1,000-page report to California's legislators later in June, noting the group is, quote, likely to suggest dozens of measures that could cost hundreds of billions of dollars. The same publication also observed the state political leaders, including Black legislators who are in favor of reparations in some form, warned it could take years for many of the task force recommendation policies to be implemented. Quote, Direct financial compensation to Black Californians, they said, may not happen at all, the journal wrote. Now, this guy is very important. Let's pay attention and have a photographic memory of who this individual is. Continues to say, I would read that, but I'm going to continue saying this. Okay, quote, I'm not going to sit here and make the promise that everybody's going to get a check, said State Senator Stephen Bradford, and he's in California, state legislator in Democrat in California. That's what that means right here, decal. Okay. One of the task force members, quote, I want people to have a broader view on what reparations could be and a greater acceptance that it might take a little time. Bradford has warned before that people must be, quote, realistic about their expectations. He declared in the past, quote, I don't want to set folks' expectations and hopes that they are going to be getting, 7-figure checks. That's just not happening. He continues to say, he is reportedly not the only state leader who cautions that reparations may be more complicated than merely sending checks to countless California citizens. Quote, the Legislative Black Caucus, which includes Bradford, is expecting to lead an effort to act on the task force recommendations, the journal noted. While many members have said they support monetary reparations, some have also said programs to help Black descendants of slaves access higher education, buy a home, or start a business may be more feasible in the short term. Continues to say, now this is not important, this is something totally different. Continues to say, the journal noted that the task force has outlined a historical case of why reparations is owed despite California's history as a free state in theory. Quote, while California joined the Union as a free state, task force research showed that hundreds, if not thousands, of Black slaves were brought to the state during the gold rush, the journal wrote. Quote, it passed a fugitive slave law allowing slaves brought into California before it became a state to be captured and returned to their owners. Governor continues to say, Governor Gavin Newsom, now this is the governor of California, made a statement last month that noted the complicated and nuanced nature of paying reparations, dealing with the legacy of slavery is about much more than cash payments. A spokesman later clarified that the governor is, quote, not ruling anything out. So officially the governor has not said no to cash payments, but the governor has not said yes. He's kind of soft shoeing a little bit around that. Continues to say, the journal noted that many local taxpayers are debating the idea of making payments of historical misdeeds. Quote, who is paying for this? One public letter to the task force asks, quote, should Japanese Americans whose families were interned pay, or women who were long considered chattel and couldn't even own property during slavery pay? And when they say women, they mean white women. They don't mean any other type of women. They mean white women. So we all know. Continues to say, California's plan to grant reparations to its Black residents could cost the state $800 billion, nearly triple the state's existing budget. Economics predicted in a preliminary. I'm sorry, y'all. Preliminary.
I do it all the time.
Estimate in March. Lord have mercy. Okay. In May, some activists demanded hundreds of millions of dollars in reparations per person, referring to the historical 40 acres and a mule promise to former slaves. Okay. Then it continues to say, quote, you know that the number should be equivocal to what an acre was back then. We were given 40, okay? We were given 40 acres. You know what number that is. You keep trying to talk about now, yet you research back to slavery and you have nothing about slavery, nothing. Reverend Tony Pierce proclaimed, quote, so the equivocal number from 1860s for 40 acres in the mule for 40 acres today is 200 million for each and every African American. Then finishing this off, it says, however, leaders like California Secretary of State Shirley Weber, a former state senator who helped pass the law establishing the task force in the first place, noted to the Journal that actually implementing a reparations policy is no easy task with budget restraints. Quote, because now you're talking resources, now you're talking investment, she said. Weber also said that giving people money directly may not even be the best way to enrich their lives. Quote, if we say that the health disparity in the country is great and every black person gets $5,000, will that change the health disparities in California? Probably not, she said. So I was going to do a broadcast on this. I'm going to close this down now. I was going to do a broadcast on this myself, but I decided to save this because today is Juneteenth. And I wanted to hear what all of these brothers and our sister had to say about this situation. Excuse my, sometimes the words, when you're trying to read fast, your tongue gets twisted. Y'all know what it is. They know what it is. Y'all probably don't listen. They know what it is.
Yeah.
But this is Afro. Okay. Okay. Let me see. Now, starting off with whoever, what do you guys have to say about that article?
It's a bunch of BS. I'm trying to keep it as calm. I'm trying to keep it as calm as I can. But that's basically what it is. You know, it's the same old crap that they've been saying for the longest now. Meanwhile, I don't know if y'all saw this recent article that came out where Germany is about to pay out globally to those descendants of the Holocaust like $1 billion. Like that just came out like last week, I think. And whenever there's a payout for any other group, there's no study being done. There's no task force. They don't interfere. They just give them the money, you know, or whatever little thing they got to do to make sure that that's who it's supposed to go to. That's who it is. With us, it's always this hassle. It's always these different hurdles that they have to do. They know that they can afford to do it. I mean, after all, how much money has Biden sent to Ukraine in the last year? It seems like Zelensky is getting billions of dollars a month, but they don't cry about that. So they definitely have the money. They just want to be cheap and stingy when it comes to us. But that's fine. We'll see how it looks in 2024.
Okay.
Yeah, they're definitely using codified language as well. They try to say, I heard you say something about this Japanese Americans have to pay, as women who are treated like chattel have to pay. And it's like you said, they're talking about white women. Okay, white women were not treated like chattel. Enslaved people were. Our ancestors were. There was a big difference between y'all not being able to vote and not being able to do certain things in your society, and us literally not having rights at all as human beings. There was a huge difference between that. Okay, so yeah, they're trying to, but that's them trying to push this narrative of trying to compare us to minorities or trying to act like our experience here is not specific and special, you know, in the way that we deserve specific reparations for. So yeah, they know what they need to cough up that cash. I mean, and Newsom saying he's riding the line. I mean, riding the line is not really, I mean, it's not, I think that's not a good thing because you should have a stance on that. I mean, come on, you're the governor. It's not like you're running, man. You're the governor. You should know whether you want to pass out this money, and really, you do know. And that kind of tells me that you don't want to pass it out. You don't want to get that cash out because you would have just said that. You could just make that stance. I mean, it's pretty obvious. The proof is in the pudding. I mean, if you know even the slightest bit of history, you should know. That's just the obvious answer. We need our reparations. So, these people know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. Like the brother just said, Torian. I mean, Torian. It's come on. They don't need They didn't need a study for the Japanese. They need a study for the $5 Indians. They need a study for the Jews or the Flus. So I mean, what are we doing here? Like this is a secular or a circular conversation trying to act like we need to have all of these studies and it has to be years and we might not even get money and we should do it might just be programs and it's just come on, give us that cash. We deserve more than that, but cash is should be at the forefront of the conversation. This is a joke.
So in 1988, Ronald Reagan gave compensation along with an apology to the Japanese Americans. Last I checked, none of my ancestors interned encaged Japanese people during World War II, but we still had to fit the bill to paying them. I believe equivalent of 3.9 million was given out. Billion was given out to 20,000 Japanese American families. So again, none of my people, no foundational Black American was running the government back in 1940s when they were encaged, but we still had to fit the bill. Anytime it comes to our reparations, it's always a sob story and who's going to have to pay, how much, why do they have to pay if they wasn't here, and this and that. There's always some type of, confusion that they want to bring up when paying us reparations because they know what it will create. We're going to have group economics when we receive our reparations, and that's just it. As far as Jewish people, they were paid out, and they're still getting paid. No one basically from the Holocaust nowadays, if I'm incorrect, I may be incorrect. I don't think not one person is alive that went through those camps. That happened in the 30s and in the mid 40s. They all either passed on or they died in those camps. And rightfully so. They should get paid from Germany. Absolutely. That's their problem. Okay, that's fine. We have a beef with the United States government. Anyone that was here, whether it be women, specifically white women, they also received in help from labor from slaves, such as Black women had to nurse white babies so that, white women could take the day off and just relax. Black women had to cook. Sometimes Black men had to cook. White women weren't doing any of that. Black women had to clean. White women were not doing any of that. So again, they are on the hook too. So don't hit me with they didn't own property. I understand that, but they still told slaves what they cannot do. So they are on the hook too for exactly what's owed to Black Americans today. Now, as far as California reparations, and I somewhat I agree with the whole quote unquote mind your state that's going on. But what happens in the California reparations task force was going to trickle down to the whole nation. And we all knew that. That's why we had a big, I want to say, stink about certain actors, being up there causing certain confusion. New York, I live in New York. Our reparation task force is just now starting. And they're going to base it off of what happened in California. So if a person ruins that, because it's their state and they feel like that, worry about your state, that state has a domino effect on a lot of different states. So again, the verbiage needs to be right. It needs to be cash. It cannot be, collard greens. We cannot go for, the candy yams. That's all great and that's good to eat. But when we're talking about business, we're talking about reparations. We're talking about payments. I don't give a damn about a sorry. You can keep your sorries. That's fine. Matter of fact, don't even give me them. That's fine. You want to say you're sorry? Hit me in my bank account. And with that, I'm going to pass to my brother Black Alpha.
Man, there's a lot to unpack with that whole article. First off, the guy said we're not going to get checks. He never said why not. He didn't say the reasoning behind it. He just said no. So this is what they always do to us. And first off, the state of California spends $24 billion a year on illegal immigration, not just immigration, illegal immigration. and that's about $1,700 per household, and nobody complains about that. That money gets shipped up. And I noticed that they cited a fan letter. What was that? A fan letter somebody wrote in. They said somebody said, why should this happen? What can we write when they send money to anybody? I don't even know where to write. Where's the PO box? Because Foundational Black Americans, we can write everybody. I've never seen any other situation where we're ever allowed to sit on panels and talk down on someone else's money. I don't even know where to go to do it. You know what I'm saying? So whenever it comes to us, all of a sudden these people can find our reparations panels. They find news articles. They find blogs, anything where you can oppose Foundational Black Americans. Everybody has an address. We don't ever have it. One is because we don't care. But even if we did give a damn, they wouldn't give it to us. So they always incite all of these outsiders, all these outliners to basically talk down on Foundational Black Americans and why we shouldn't get it. They never give us real, examples. They never give us real reasons. But shout out to all my brothers and sisters, because we are not going for it. There used to be a time when they say no money, and then everybody just go home, right? We don't do that no more. Now they say no money. We say, no. You're going to have to give us a better answer than that. And we continue to push them. I realize that our success does not look like everybody else's success because we ain't everybody else. Everything we do more of an alternative mode. Everybody else can go through the proper channels because the system is designed for them. They know that Foundational Black Americans operate in our own world, so therefore we have to have our own measures that we take. And the brothers and sisters in California have been very, very, very stern. They haven't fell for none of the games. They've been really out there pushing and really fighting for it. And that's what is the most motivating factor of everything that's happening right now, is that the brothers and sisters are out there and they're not taking no for an answer. They're showing up. I seen some old Black ladies who got on a bus and they was like 20 minutes to get there. They went, spoke for 2 minutes, and then went back home. And these women were in their 70s. So that shows you that it's intergenerational, and we're not taking no for an answer. We're going to continue to fight, and it's going to be a long, long, long line of it. It doesn't stop. We know they're trying to stall us out. And I did a show one time about Gavin Newsom. You got to watch Gavin Newsom. First off, anybody with about 4 ounces of hair grease and they sit his brush to the side, you can't trust them, okay? So they're trying to do the whole JFK thing with him and make him look like he's some type of civil rights hero. The same thing they did with JFK, same thing they try to do with Joe Biden. And what he really is just a front. He's a figurehead, and he represents the establishment. And brothers and sisters out in the West Coast do not fall for it. Neither do brothers and sisters out where we are and all across the country. So it's just a bunch of bull, you know what, and we're not going to go for it.
Absolutely. Brilliant. Every single last one of you guys, you know what I'm saying? Every single last one of, and that's just our first thing. That's our first thing. Now I want to show you, since we're still on the conversation of reparations.
Hold on, Afro. Before you move on, can I ask a question to you and Oratorian? No problem, brother. Was there any opposition to Jewish people getting paid by Germany that you guys heard about? Because I didn't hear about anything.
It wasn't even publicized like that. Like a lot of people before I just mentioned it probably didn't even know that was going on. Like I said, that it was a US Today article, and somebody had tagged me in it on Twitter. I'm still contemplating whether or not I'm going to do a video about it, because I don't know what angle I would take with talking about that. But yeah, like they said, it's a global payout. Like this is money that's going to be spread to various places around the world, not just in one location. Like it's spreading. Like they're literally saying, here's some here, here's some here, here's some here. Like they're literally doing, it's almost like a global fund that Germany is doing. And I didn't see no pushback. I didn't see no one calling it a handout. I didn't see anyone calling it a welfare program. You know, the usual stuff that they always say that we need to stop asking for, because, you know, they always like to say when we say we demand reparations, they say stop asking for a handout. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. They don't say that to anybody else. They want to sit there and pretend and insult our intelligence like all these other groups, including them folks, as I like to call them, doesn't get money. Even still to this day are still receiving money right now. The latest thing that is going on right now, I don't know if any of y'all have seen it, is now you have a lot of mainly Asian Americans going after affirmative action because they're not getting into the school of choice that they want to get into. And the first people they want to go after is Black people. Meanwhile, affirmative action benefits white women the most. Like, that's heavily documented. So that's the next thing that they're starting to go after. So basically, as long as it works for them, they're fine. But if it doesn't work for them, then it's like, oh, it has to be this and it has to be that. As a matter of fact, I talked about one of them on my live stream this past Friday, where it was this Asian guy. He wanted to get into University of California, Berkeley. and he had like these high SAT scores, and he said he was trying to get to the school, he didn't get in, and then he tried to blame it on affirmative action, but the joke was on him because affirmative action was outlawed in California in 95, 10 years before he was even born. So he shot himself in the foot when he said that. So, but that's the thing that they like to go to. What it basically is saying is that Black people are put into a box where they can only be entertainers, actors, actresses, singers, athletes. You cannot be a business owner. You can't be in tech. You can't be in these spaces like those in Silicon Valley. Like, that's not your lane. How dare you try to get into our lane without us automatically thinking you got in there because you're Black? Meanwhile, when we pulled up the stats for those in India, many of them cheated on SATs. They were recycling tests. Some of them were getting people paid to do their tests. And they said they have, when it comes to business, some of them have the worst business practices, that some of their businesses don't even last that long because they don't know what the hell they're doing.
Oh, wow.
So there you go.
To answer your question, there's never any opposition when it comes to them folks. There's never any opposition when it comes to anybody else getting any reparations. The whole pull yourselves up by your bootstraps, they make it seem like that's a race blind thing and nobody in America gets help and nobody even asks for help or wants help or would accept help. But that's not the case. We know that's not the case. They get checks after checks up here in Chicago. The government is breaking off millions of dollars back to back ever since August, almost going on almost a year of nonstop checks for pretty much the foreseeable future for thousands of illegals coming here so they can provide them clothing, medical care, housing. And at this point, they're just straight up giving them checks. They just are straight up giving them checks that they can go and they can cash in and they can do whatever they want to do with the checks. And nobody is asking, what are they going to do with the checks? How are they going to spend the money? They're not financially literate enough. See, that conversation of things being people being financially literate, that conversation is never taken to anybody else's money, anybody else's compensation, anybody else's reparations. Nobody has ever said these illegals who are coming over here from third world countries pretty much are not you would think that they're not financially literate of, but nobody is asking, nobody is questioning their financial literacy. Nobody questions the financial literacy of Native Americans, despite the fact that many of their casinos don't do nearly as well as they should, considering the fact that all of that is tax-free and casinos are pretty much free money. They don't really do as well as how we would make it go, but nobody is questioning their financial literacy. Nobody questions the financial literacy of them folks. You have arguments and conversations where they're debating and trying to get people from the LGBT reparations for aggrievements that they allegedly had. And nobody questions the financial, just because you're homosexual, that makes you financially literate? No. But nobody questions the financial literacy of anybody else for any other reason. It's only when it comes to our reparations does the question of, well, where are you going to spend the money? And are you guys financially literate enough? You guys are just going to spend it on Jordans and weed and all that. So you're going to waste your money. That's the only time you ever hear the conversation or the bad faith question of financial literacy.
Pocket watching. I always say that we are some of the most pocket watch people on the planet. They always want to know exactly where our money is going. And if it's not going to them, then they become even more suspicious. That's why it was a person. I saw a video on Twitter where it was a Black community down in Georgia. They literally brought like a community and brought a bunch of small, tiny homes. Don't let the name fool you. They call them tiny homes because they look small, but inside they're really nice interior wise. And they showed the video, like they literally bought the whole little community, put all the houses there. And it was this Dub S by the name of Stu Peters on Twitter, saw the video, retweeted it, and said segregation. So when we're doing for ourselves, it's considered segregation and we're being divisive. but when they do it, it's the American way.
Mm-hmm. That's working hard and pulling yourselves up by your bootstraps. That's the American way. When they do it, let them tell it. Let them tell it. Now we're gonna move on to a video I like, since we're still on the conversation in the topic of reparations, and somebody asked in the chat room if we have talked about Child Kirk yet.
I literally brought him up before we got started.
Not yet. He literally brought him up.
We literally brought him up before we got started.
Yeah. So shout out to the super chats, Torian. Those are on your page. So
appreciate it.
Chats. You know. But let's bring this up since we're still on a conversation of reparation. Hold on, no, I pressed the wrong button. Since we're still on a conversation. Oh, come on. Of reparations, let me bring this up. My computer could load. And before we do this, let me just make sure that I play this because I don't want to get a copyright strike or anything like that. You already know how that is, guys. Y'all know. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. So now that we do that to make sure that we don't get messed with. Hold on. So we're going to play this, and once again, we're going to do the same formula and let our panel give their opinions on it.
Something tells me I'm going to get annoyed again.
I think you will too.
Wait, I think I've seen this. So yes, I am going to get annoyed.
As we saw earlier, reparations is a hugely divisive issue. A Pew Research poll taken in late 2021 found that by a more than 2-to-1 margin, Americans oppose reparations for African Americans. And look at the racial split. Whites overwhelmingly oppose reparations, 80%. But the numbers are almost exactly reversed among African Americans who strongly support the idea. So joining me now is Cornell William Brooks. He's a professor of the practice of public leadership and social justice at the Harvard Kennedy School. He's also a former president and CEO of the NAACP. And Coleman Hughes is a columnist and host of the Society and Culture podcast, Conversations with Coleman. Both of you have agreed to essentially lightly debate this issue with me as playing my role of moderator here.
Pause it right quick, Afro. I didn't mean to cut it. I didn't mean to stop it that quick. They got the, I call him the New York Transit twirler up on this panel, who they know. First off, he doesn't even qualify. They love to leave out his whole name. They only call him Coleman Hughes. I'm like, no, say his whole name. Coleman Cruz Hughes. This guy is non-FBA. He is very anti-black. And the first time that I've ever seen him was when he was twirling around in his tidy whities on the subway. Sage, that was in your state.
I'm gonna take that out. But here's the thing: I want to let y'all know for the record, I've never seen this dude around New York at all. Like, no television, no nothing. Where did he come from? Where did they get him from? Seriously, because he just popped up on a reparations quote unquote task force or hearing, and I've never seen or heard of this man nowhere near on the streets in New York City.
And you know what's so funny? That video that I'm talking about, where he's in his underwear on the train, I remember seeing it, and then once the video kind of went viral, for a little bit, it just kind of disappeared. Like, you really didn't see it again. But shout out to D Tubman, because they was able to retrieve that video and they reposted it yesterday. So for those who never got a chance to see it, first off, I would not blame you if you didn't want to see it, because it is very cringe. But just understand, this guy, you would think that he was trying to audition to be a Chippendales dancer on that train. And it was very cringe. What would you say, Sage?
My thing, Brother Torrin, if you've seen that video, all of those congressional people that allowed him in that hearing seen that too.
Oh yeah,
let's not act like they don't know.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Situation.
Yeah, just like they try to pretend with what's his name, the habitual liar. also in New York. The one back in January, Sage know exactly what I'm talking about. The one that been lying about everything about his life. What is his name? George Santos. George Santos.
Yeah, Santos.
Yes,
Yeah,
man, that guy literally his whole life is a lie. But I didn't. You can go ahead after. I just had to let that one loose.
Okay, you gonna give? Let's go, y'all. Let's go.
Let me start with you. You've been studying this for quite some time, and you've been working with some religious leaders to come up, I think it's fair to say, a modern blueprint of what you think. What would reparations look like in the 21st century? Make the case.
That's right. So I've had the pleasure and honor of working with both the National Council of Churches and the Union of Reformed Judaism and a group of Harvard Kennedy School students who are working with these large religious associations all across the country, representing over 40 million people, to create a moral discourse on reparations. Why? Because we know that in many corners of our republic, it's being politically weaponized. And they're endeavoring to make, I'd say, 3 key points here. The first of which is, with respect to reparations, you often hear that the harm was too long ago, it's too expensive, and too impossible, too difficult to do. What we find is the harm was not long ago, right? So in other words, yes, slavery ended in 1863 and 1865, but the convict leasing system, representing 1 million people enslaved, lasted up until the opening days of World War II, right? And all of these systems of oppression continue into the present, point 1. Point 2, with respect to reparations being too difficult. I want to know something here, Chuck, that's critically important. My colleague, Linda Bilmes, who's a public economist at the Harvard Kennedy School, we've done a study, and we looked at all of these programs across the federal government, and we make the case that we're already doing reparations. We simply don't call it that. So in other words, there's a norm in government which essentially says, if an American has been harmed through no fault of their own, the government will often step in to try to make them whole. We do this not only with respect to Japanese Americans who were interned after World War II, but we also do it with respect to veterans, with respect to people who suffered in a natural disaster. We do it with respect to children who've been harmed by vaccines. We do it with respect to pensions that are insured. So we do this over and over again, which says that we can do it. And lastly, we do it at the level of millions, billions, even trillions of dollars. So we can't afford to do it.
All right, Coleman Hughes, let me bring you in here. You testified before Congress in 2019 against the idea of reparations. You said paying reparations to descendants of slavery would, quote, only divide the country further. And you thought it would insult Black Americans by putting a price on the suffering as well, and would make Black Americans like yourself victims without their consent. I hope I captured that correctly, but you take it further. Make your case against.
So let me just make a distinction off the bat. I support reparations for redlining, right? Because there are many victims of redlining that are still with us. They're still alive. And Cornell, all the examples of successful reparations for other groups that you highlighted were examples of reparations given to directly the victims of these human rights abuses in their lifetimes or their immediate family members. That's why I support reparations for redlining paid directly to the victims, as they're doing in Evanston outside of Chicago. I make a distinction between that and reparations for slavery, which ended in 1865. I know of no examples where groups are getting reparations for historical crimes that are over 150 years old. And unfortunately, the opportunity was tragically missed to pay it to the slaves themselves or their immediate families. But claims like this time out, right? And this is timed out. And let me say one more thing. Martin Luther King had a plan for addressing the legacy of slavery, which he laid out in his book, Why We Can't Wait. And he called it the Bill of Rights for the Disadvantaged. The Bill of Rights for the Disadvantaged was not a race-based policy. It was a class-based anti-poverty program that would benefit the Black poor and the white poor and the poor of all races. That's what I support in terms of addressing the legacy of slavery. That's what I feel is the wisest path forward for this country.
Let me follow up a little bit, Coleman, because
before we continue, do any of you want to say anything before we continue? Because this
Please
is
say something for
it's already been like 5 minutes. So
I'll take that. I got a lot to say. First off, y'all know how we say the dominant society plays both sides of the argument. A lot of times they send out their puppets to play both sides of the argument. Okay, these guys are both working for the dominant society. Let's not get it twisted. Whoever they put forth to have these debates, they always bring the good cop and the bad cop, and it does not matter what skin color they are. You can see that obviously with these two suckers. First off, the first guy, whatever his name was that the Chippendale? Who was the Chippendale, Torian?
Him, that's him. Coleman Cruz, he was the twirler. Yeah, that's him. In the tidy whities, that's him right there on the screen.
Okay. All right. And the guy earlier, y'all noticed that the first thing he said was he spoke to religious leaders, not economists, not strategists, not politicians. He spoke to religious leaders. Have y'all heard them say anything about that with Ukraine? They said we want to give $800 billion to Ukraine. The first thing we did was consult with the church. No, they consult with the moneymakers. They consult with the big wigs, the people who cut the checks. They don't say that with immigration. They didn't say that to those people in those other communities that we talk about, the Skittles community. Nobody sits there and says the first thing out their mouth is that they consulted with religious leaders. I don't want the deacon, the pastor, the reverend. I don't want none of them in my reparations conversation, period, point blank. And that would not be tolerated with any other community. You couldn't do that. So you see that the first guy, he's speaking like on behalf of reparations, but all of us right here, we certified. We understand that guy is really not about reparations. He is a reparations op with a smiley face, and this guy is a reparations op with a growl. And Malcolm X told us about the smile and the growl way back in the 1960s. So let's not get it twisted that just because these aren't two W's right here, that these guys are actually one's good, one's bad. There's no hero, there's no villain, none of that. These guys are both villains, and they're trying to lead us along. They got the guy who comes in and he speaks against reparations, and then the person who's supposed to be speaking on behalf of reparations has a whack argument. It's terrible. He cites no statistics. He doesn't bring up the grassroots. He doesn't bring up any policies, any nuances, or any details. He just runs us around in circles. So at the end of the day, you see the dominant society will always thrust these people out. And until we remove the person who's speaking on our behalf and put a real person, someone with real clout, credential, or cachet, like a Dr. Claude Anderson, all these conversations mean nothing. And that's all I got to say.
You see, that's what they do, though. They like to keep it. They put people up here on both sides, because that's white supremacy for you. You know, duality. They'll play both sides. So they put people on both sides to keep it surface level and try to make it seem like one side is a little more legitimate than the other, even though both sides have hole in it, because neither one of them really understand what they're talking about, to be honest. Like, even I cannot, and knowing that he's non-FBA, one, he looks non-FBA, which makes even more sense. But two, I really hate the disingenuous, slimy, just, you know, codified languages they tend to use when they try to play like they're, well, I'm for reparations as long as it's for redlining and for those descendants and for those families and the direct relatives to them. When it's like, because slavery ended in 1865 and, you know, it's 150 years and it's been too long. It's like, first of all, even if we're being honest, slavery didn't even end in 1865. Okay, there's still many historical resources you can find that will tell you that literally there were people enslaved, shackles. We're talking about enslaved for real past 1865. I seen a brother who was talking about how he was in it. His grandfather was a slave up in like the 60s. We're talking about going into the 30s, 40s, 50s, and this is the time that we had MLK and Malcolm X. And in the deep South, where people didn't have technology, because it was barely any technology back anyways, there were still people who were still dealing in these situations. So even if we're not talking about slavery directly, even after that, slavery never really ended even after that, because slavery was just recodified. Slavery was just reinvented, if we're just being honest. So redlining was one small part of it, but we're talking about the whole experience that Black Americans had to endure after, if you just want to end it at 1865. So, I mean, it's just disingenuous for him to say, I'm for this. You have to read through the BS. You know, you got to read through the lines, because the people that talk like this aren't really for the liberation of our people. Just point blank period.
Okay. Look at his face. Is that the face of a person that has any type of revolutionary blood that we carry in us? Look at his face, family. And I'm glad, Afro, you paused it on the right spot. Look at his eyes. He doesn't believe anything that he's saying because he has no type of connection to the people in which he said, because if I'm not mistaken, according to him, he can trace his roots to Monticello, correct? Now, last I checked, Monticello was not in Puerto Rico. So let's keep it trill here for a second. Shout out to my people in Texas. We'll get to that later. But Coleman Cruz shouldn't be speaking on our behalf. They labeled him a Black American. There's nothing about, look at his face, family, and stand to his face while I'm talking about. There's nothing about him that screams Black American. The way he speaks on our behalf is very offensive. You wouldn't even get a Chinese person to speak on Japanese affairs. And then again, like I asked to my brother earlier, why is it always an opposition when we're talking about reparations for us? It's always an opposition. They come through with the same arguments all the time. Well, family, I'm here to announce this. My grandmother was born in 1928. My grandmother's grandmother was a slave. Okay? Let's keep this real for a second. Slavery was not that long ago. Okay? I met my grandmother, damn near helped my mother raise me. I met the woman that her grandmother, she met her grandmother who was a slave. Okay? My aunt's generation was the one that integrated the schools. Excuse me, my grandmother's generation, was the one that integrated the schools, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. My thing here is that, family, when we're talking about situations that happened in the USA, it's not that long ago. Notice how he brought up redlining, because he can squeeze them Puerto Ricans into redlining, family.
Exactly.
I want y'all to notice that. They'll bring up things when it applies to them. That's why they try to say, oh, reparations is about racism. No, it's not. No, it's not. Reparations is specifically about payment for work rendered during slavery. That's it. It has nothing to do with, I can care less. Because again, family, after they pay us out, they're still going to hate you because you're Black. But they won't be able to victimize you, as our brother Jason Black says. Okay? We don't want to be victimized. So again, reparations had nothing to do with the redlining. And I want to point this out too, before I pass to my brother Torian. Notice, he's Puerto Rican. Notice Teeth, Alexander Ocasio-Cortez, right? Teeth girl, right? Notice how she pointed out redlining also when she spoke about reparations. That's their way of crowbarring the Puerto Ricans in. Okay, family? So anytime you hear a Puerto Rican listing redlining, don't miss that, okay? Because they're crowbarring that in so that they can squeeze them. I don't want to curse on this platform. So that they can squeeze themselves in there. And I'm passing my brother Torian.
When he's talking like this is exactly why I'm so glad that I am doing this Black Massacre series on my channel. Because even with those who were post-chattel slavery, they were still supposed to be owed payments for the destruction of what happened with them. Like, for instance, Black Wall Street. They are still survivors right now who are trying to get reparations for not only themselves, but even their descendants, because that's what they're owed. When I was doing the research for Rosewood, they paid them out crumbs. And when I say crumbs, by the time they ended up distributing it to all of the people it was supposed to go to, they each probably were given about $100 each for, you know, what happened down there back in 1923. Crazy. That's been 100 years over, because it happened in January of 1923. And you have individuals like the twirler, as I call him. I can't get that video out of my head every time I see his face. Up here, like Sage said, talking about redlining, and that's what came to mind too. I said he's mentioning redlining for a reason, because that's the part where it will start to affect his descendants. I mean, his lineage is right around that region. But no, we're going back to the inception, which is before your people got here. So you're not going to try to crowbar your way in. Again, going back to what I said about affirmative action, they're all for it when it benefits them, but the minute that is not working for them anymore, they want to get rid of it, especially if it's something that is going to benefit us. That's why there are so many detractors. I think the ones that disappoint me the most is when those who actually qualify for it are quote unquote against it. Like when they showed up the chart and how it showed how many the percentage of Black people that were against it. Now it doesn't break down where in the spectrum of Black do they fall. Are they FBA or are they non-FBA? They just kind of lump them all, like really all in there. So you can't really gauge it on that, but I'm willing to bet many of them are probably non, which doesn't surprise me. But for those of you who are not, when the checks do get cut, make sure you slide that my way. I'll find some use for it, since apparently you don't want any money. You too good for it. Apparently, Zaddy's ice is colder. That's all
apparently
I gotta
they don't want a handout. They don't want a handout. So when they, if you know, they get their checks and they, you know, we're gonna remember that they said that they didn't want a handout and they don't feel like we should give reparations, so they shouldn't want to keep it. But one thing I want to note is, notice how about 2/3 of white society is opposed to reparations. Now, we're constantly being told that we live in this post-racial society and white people don't see race. White people are not like their ancestors were. They've changed. They oppose slavery. I'm gonna say this: if you oppose reparations, then you don't oppose slavery, and that's my stance on that. You can't say I oppose slavery. Slavery was horrible, but I oppose reparations. I don't like slavery, but they shouldn't be compensated for slavery. Those two things don't make any sense at all. So anyone who opposes reparations opposes or condones slavery, I would say. So as many white people say that, yeah, I just don't see slavery being a thing. I just don't see how that would work. Those are the people who, if they could go back in time and keep slavery going, they would do that. And I think it's important to know how many white people, and just because a white person approves of reparations doesn't mean they're not racist, so you know, but how many white people condone slavery, because that's how I look at that.
Oh yes, and that, like I said, that's why when someone brought up about Charlie Kirk, but you know, if you get there, you'll see exactly what I mean by that, because it literally was within that tweet that he said. If you read between the lines of what he said, I bet you if they did a poll and asked, would you bring slavery back, I bet the vast majority of them would probably say yes. I always say I love when you're honest. I can appreciate that when you are honest. I always like the overt rather than the covert. I don't like to have to try to figure you out. Like, let me know up front what I am dealing with. Like, for instance, when Trump was running for president back in 2016 and he was kicking off the MAGA, you know, the Make America Great Again, there was a reporter, a local reporter in DC. And he was asking various people who were Trump supporters, you know, like how they felt about Donald Trump, you know, what is his chances of winning and stuff like that. This one reporter asked this white lady one question. He said, to you, what does Make America Great Again mean? This woman literally had to stop and try to think of a lie to tell this reporter. Mind you, he had already asked her a bunch of questions leading up to that, and she was answering them rapid fire style. But the minute he got to the asking that question, she froze. That's because they know what it means when they say make America great again, because black people were saying, when was America ever great for us? We know when it was great for you. Even till today, it's still great for you.
My thing is too, when they talk about the time frame of reparations, like my brother Torian touched on earlier, there are survivors of Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma. They're still alive and kicking to this day, and they still haven't paid them out. So don't hit me with no, well, their kids and they look at the coon face, y'all. Look at his face. Don't hit me with no, well, their kids and their grandkids. No. They're still alive. There's a woman right now. She was on the news earlier in New York, 107 years old. Still alive and kicking. They still haven't gotten paid. So don't hit me with no time frame. Just don't do it. It just doesn't work, because those people are still alive. The people that were directly affected are still here, and you're not paying them. So what's your excuse then?
Good point. Let's continue, because we got some more stuff. Plus, we got the game later on tonight. So definitely want to get that going.
It is interesting that there are some forms of specific areas where you believe a reparation of sorts should be put there. How do you distinguish Jim Crow, and what is the right amount of time? And I say that Germany is still paying reparations to now descendants of Holocaust victims. So what is the timeline where you feel like where you would draw the line?
So I think reasonable people can disagree on this, and I don't claim to have the last word on the subject, but I think we can all agree reparations should be paid ideally in the lifetime of the victim. If the victim dies, it should be paid to their spouse or to their children. Once you get to grandchildren and beyond, my personal view is that that's beyond my line. But like I said, reasonable people can disagree on this, but there's no doubt that, in my view, crimes from the 1850s and 60s are beyond the statute of limitations.
Do you see this where
Pause it right
services
quick.
can sort
Pause it. And I knew, and I wanted to wait to pause it because I knew was or was not going to do this. He asked him or told him, he said about like the time frame, you know, with reparations and stuff like that. But he also mentioned how Germany is still paying out to the Holocaust. Notice he said that when it comes to reparations for slavery, it should be, you know, if or a spouse or, you know, a child or anything like that. Once you start getting to grandchildren, then that's like really beyond the statute of limitations. Notice he completely dodged the part about the Holocaust. He did not answer it. And I knew he wasn't going to answer it. I knew it. It was so predictable.
My question,
because then he would have to say the same thing for them, and he wasn't going to say it.
Exactly.
They would have pulled the plug.
Do you think for 1 second, if Spain was to offer reparations to these Puerto Ricans, that they would say it's a timeline in which they should not be paid now?
That's a good point. That's a great point, actually. Great question. Because these other people have reparations claims going on in their countries.
Correct.
And these people come to our country and they talk on behalf of us because the dominant society puts them in that position to say, what do you think about reparations? They're not opposed. These people who are so opposed to the concept of reparations aren't opposed to the concept of reparations for their own people. They come over here and they say reparations is unfeasible. It's been too long. Why don't you work hard? Why don't they go to CARICOM and speak on behalf, because that's their people, speak on behalf of their people and say, I oppose reparations for Puerto Ricans. They don't do that.
I want everybody to notice this as well, fam. Think about this. Notice how they're having a discussion about a time frame. Where on paper documentation law does time frame apply to reparations? It's in motion. There's no statute of limitations on reparations. So why are we even having this discussion? You know, you see how they'll just weasel in things that literally have no precedence. There is no statute of limitations on reparations. Anybody that can present to me a law that says after 50 years, 100 years, 200 years, you can't have it no more, then we can talk. Until then, we're just wasting time having these type of discussions. Well, 5 years, 12 years, 13 years, the grandkids on my mama's cousin's left inside. None of that means nothing because that's not on paper. Now, when we start talking about things, they always say we can't do it because it's not the law. But when it comes to this situation, they can just create laws based on public opinion and based on emotion. Where does that go? There's been a lot of wars that we don't agree with, but at the end of the day, if they want to send you to war, you're going to war. Half the people in America did not agree with Afghan war. They didn't agree with either Iraq war, but guess what? We went. And a lot of people, got harmed in those wars. Not one time did anybody receive a petition in the mail and they said, well, public opinion feels this way. And the president said, well, since the people feel this way, we're not going to go. It don't work that way. At the end of the day, they say what happens. And when it comes to reparations, we cannot allow them to have these fake straw man arguments. Because I'm going to be honest, I think after people watch this, not us, but the typical American, they start thinking that there is a statute of limitation on reparations, and there's really not. They start to believe that there's a timeline, and there's really not. And it's just based on them actually speaking on it like it's by law. And it's not by law. It's just made up, complete gender. And this is what you see when it comes to black folks. I always say, man, there's two types of laws. There's the one that's written down, and then the one that's in their mind. There's the one that's formal and informal, and there's everybody else's law, and then there's the in-laws. And the in-laws, I'm not talking about your relatives. Y'all know what the N stand for, and it don't mean nation building.
Yep. He's talking about the statute of limitations as if Native Americans aren't still getting money.
And they're way smaller population.
Money. Say that. What'd you say?
And they're a way smaller population.
Think about that. What do they always say? They say that's the original sin, right? I just seen Carnell West saying that the other day when he was talking about our reparations. He said, "Oh no, the Indians were the original sin." So allegedly, you going back before us, allegedly. Y'all know the real history. But according to that, there's no time frame for it. It's just anybody can get it anytime, anywhere. But now when it comes to us, they want to put names and dates and times and what side of the country it happened and what's your relatives. Those are those type of straw man arguments. But thank God that we're all here, because if we weren't here in the Black grassroots, oh God, I don't know what would be happening. They would just sell this off. And about 10, 15 years ago, Black folks would be going along with this and just falling for the whole trick. But we're not. We're pushing back. So that's a good thing. It's a great start.
You know what's interesting about the USA too? We've actually, foundational Black Americans, we've been enslaved longer, even including today. We've been enslaved longer than we've been free. We've been enslaved since the 1500s, some of us, our family, our bloodlines. And we've only been free not even 200 years yet. So again, when you talk about a time frame, take all of that into consideration, Mr. Cruz. That's all I would ask.
Yep. ZZ, you got anything you want to say before we continue?
No, you can go ahead. I think y'all touched on. Yeah, go ahead.
Sort of be the.
Are you currently selling products on Amazon, but you're
selling
not making a lot of profit? Maybe you're
Hey, I bet you don't support reparations either.
Be what is reparations? So maybe it is free college. Maybe it's discounted college. Maybe it is.
They did that on purpose, y'all. I just want you to know they did that on purpose.
It's all good, man.
Tax breaks. How do you want to describe it? Is that an acceptable form in your opinion?
It is an acceptable form. And when we look at what we call reparatory compensation programs in government, they use a variety of strategies to help make people whole. But let's go to this point about indirect victims. When we look at the policies, when we look at government, when we look at history, we actually do compensate people who have suffered a harm indirectly and their heirs. Think about this. So in Tulsa, Oklahoma, right, Black Wall Street was bombed from the air. Homes were burned on the ground. No compensation, including for victims who are over 100 years old today. But when we bombed islands in the South Pacific, as in the U.S. government, we paid compensation to direct victims, indirect victims, and their heirs as a consequence of an American government bombing people on the ground. The point being here is when you look at reparatory compensation programs, what you find is the variety of direct and indirect victims who are compensated for nearly every group but Black people.
I want to play a clip from Ronald Reagan after he signed a bill to repay.
Now, notice how he said schooling is reparations. I just want to point that out. He said going to school, going to college is reparations. So if they pay for our college, that's reparations, family. I just want to point that out. So remember when Brother Black Alpha said, this dude is not for reparations, cash payments. Oh, I don't want y'all to miss that. He said going to school is reparations. Go ahead.
Japanese Americans who were detained during World War II. Here's what he said in August of 1988.
Yet no payment can make up for those lost years. So what is most important in this bill has less to do with property than with honor. For here we admit a wrong. Here we reaffirm our commitment as a nation to equal justice under the law.
Coleman, is that a model for how America should deal with this? Could it be a model for how we dealt with Japanese Americans?
Like I said, the opportunity was missed in the lifetimes of slaves. I know of 0 examples of a group, an ethnic group, getting reparations 150 years after the crime in question. Now, when it comes to honor and symbolic apologies, I completely support those. I'd also like to point out many have been made and almost none have been really accepted.
Pause it right quick, Afro.
What?
You should be apologizing to us for that cringy video.
Oh, Lord.
He needs to pay us reparations for that shit. No, let's get on it. Why does Afro always stop at unique times? Look at this man.
My pausing is impeccable, y'all. Okay, I'm
listen, man. Go ahead.
For Black Americans. So, for example, both houses of Congress officially apologized for slavery and Jim Crow in 2008, 2009. The Senate officially apologized for lynching in 2004. Slavery is, of course, a state's issue, as you know, and at least 8 different southern states have issued official.
Now, I want to pause it real quick. Now, he said they apologized for lynching in 2004,
So
but
George
wasn't
Floyd, you know what? No.
George really just lynched a month ago?
Wasn't George Floyd just lynched in 2020?
Eric Garner in 2014.
Sean Bell.
Does apologies have a statute of limitation?
And apologies mean nothing. First off, how are you going to apologize for something that lasted 400 plus years? An apology.
Can I ask
the
a
only
question
form of
here?
apology that matters is if you're trying to repair something, which is what reparations is about. If you're not trying to repair anything, which is cash payments included, the apology can go out the window. We can do without that. Just like the brother said before, we can do without an apology if we actually get something that repairs the situation you put us in. No damn apology. Outrageous.
Did they accept an apology from Bill Cosby?
Nah, they still going after Bill Cosby with this new round of accusations that just kind of came out of nowhere.
Oh, hey, mind you, with Bill Cosby, what are they doing? They're changing the statute of limitations in places like Nevada. So it's funny how the statute of limitations apply to reparations, but when it comes to Bill Cosby, they're willing to shift it and move it then. Just saying.
But this pause right
That's a couple pauses.
I wasn't even paying attention because I was looking at the chat when I was talking about it. I just happened to look over and now I'm like
We're going to play a little bit more of this.
Apologies for slavery. We have a beautiful museum in the nation's capital, which opened with an extensive exhibit on slavery in the Middle Passage, which was overflowing with patrons when it opened. I think we have made many gestures and symbolic gestures to give that sort of honor that Reagan was talking about.
Hey, Cornell and Coleman, you guys were terrific, very polite.
Okay, and that's pretty much it.
he talking about the museum, by the way.
Oh my God, not this.
Yeah, that's what he's talking. He talking about that. He talking about that museum, the Smithsonian.
The museum is. I mean, it's cool. It's nice.
It is nice, but yeah, but nah.
Everything in there ain't supposed to be in there. There's definitely some non-FBA things in there that's not representative of African Americans or FBAs. So yeah, but even that's not a part of reparations. No damn symbology. But that's what we've been getting for the last 60, 70 years. We don't need no more symbolism. Okay, we can do without that as well in the world. Man, it's crazy.
Like I touched on earlier with Ronald Reagan, when he gave, I'm so glad they played that. When he gave that apology, he also gave cash. So give us our cash, and then you can have Trump or Jim Crow Joe up there, and you can apologize right after we get our cash. And hopefully, nothing will, equate to like the people that were lynched and the people that were enslaved, but it's a start, so give us the money and that's a start. And then we can talk about the other things after that. But let's start with the check, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Now we're going to play the video, the long awaited video everybody's been looking for of white supremacist
Charlie Kirk.
I don't think I've seen
unmute this.
Yeah, I think he just posted this
now
today.
Since today is Juneteenth, he posted this today. He's been waiting on Juneteenth to post this today. So this is brand new, everybody. This is brand new.
Some of you will be listening to this episode as it airs on Juneteenth. The heck is Juneteenth? It depends who you ask, okay? But let's talk about what it actually is. And we opposed Juneteenth becoming a federal holiday as it happened. And yes, it is the day that it is mandatory to work at Turning Point USA. We're going to talk about it actually on the day. I say we're given multiple days off for our actual Independence Day, July 4th, 1776. Why is Juneteenth a problem? Not because, again, it's so subversive. On its face value, I have no problem with it. I think it's wonderful to say, okay, liberation of slaves, all that good stuff. No. The issue is that the entire point of it, as per postmodernists do and deconstructionists, is to subvert July 4th. That has always
Pause it right there. I didn't want to stop it this soon. But like I said, I already saw some of this. That's why I already knew what he was about to say. He literally tried to say that he does not like Juneteenth as a federal holiday because it's to subvert The 4th, mind you, the 4th is in 2 weeks. They have nothing to do with each other. Like, how is Juneteenth going to overshadow July 4th? July 4th makes a lot of money just on fireworks alone. People ain't going out to buy fireworks for Juneteenth because that's not associated with that day. So I don't know what, like, Charlie Kirk just kind of formulated this in his head. I say in his head because I don't think it's a brain. It's real hollow. If you knock up there, it's echoing. That's literally what it is. And mind you, if y'all don't know, Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens are clicked up. That should tell you all you need to know. Like that Turning Point USA thing, like they're really clicked up. So, there you go. I mean, like I said, prepared to be real cringed out with this video. And the thing is, it's only a 3. Charlie Kirk is one of the few people that can take a small, short video and make you literally just want to literally go verbally abuse him to his face. Like everything that I'm saying right now, I want to say to his face. That on top of he has a very punchable face too. Let me just throw that out there. I know I'm not the only one thinking that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, continuing.
There's a.
Hey, I gotta give Torian his credit. He lasted 1 minute. He lasted 1 full minute before he said pause. So I'm gonna give him his credit for that.
Black Independence Day and a National Independence Day, the same way that they have a black national anthem that plays before NFL games. That they have black-only dormitories and black-only math classes. It is a neo-segregationist federal holiday.
What?
Is what it is.
I told you it was going to be cringe. I tried to tell people. I said, this is Charlie Kirk in a nutshell. Like, he literally takes all this stuff and puts it together like it's supposed to make sense. It even got to the point where when he posted something on Twitter, and I'm looking through the comment section, and it was other white people like, Charlie Kirk, what the are you talking about? Like, literally, like, what? Like, they were saying, what are you talking about? Like, nothing you're saying makes any sense except to you. Y'all can have it. I mean, if y'all want to go in, like, because don't let me be the only one, because I know y'all got some thoughts.
This is ridiculous. I mean, but the white supremacist logic is illogical. Like, this is in their realm of thinking. It's just nonsensical. It's literally, I mean, it's projection. It kind of it shows the the basis of what white supremacy is and their inferiority complex, and thinking that we're trying to steal some sort of shine, or that we're trying to switch the oppression, and trying to make them the victims of some sort. It's just a projection of their own fear, of their own knowing that they are lesser than. And so they have to put that on us and try to make it seem like, oh, well, we're the victim because look at what they're doing. They're trying to segregate and they're trying to And it's like, no, that's just your own wicked mindset that you're putting on us. We have no intentions of that. It doesn't even make sense for it to be that, literally. Like you just said, it's July 4th is 2 weeks away from now. Nobody's even thinking about that right now. And a lot of Negroes will still go out and still celebrate July 4th after celebrating Juneteenth anyways, So yeah, this is, Lord, this is just ridiculous. This is literally illogical. It doesn't even make sense. This is crazy.
Yeah, continuing. I mean, that is absolutely so. That is very illogical. No, I've never heard anybody say Thanksgiving is only meant to subvert Christmas.
Right.
Nobody
Exactly. Don't let them get it out. They might try to find a way. No, I remember when they got mad when the Native Americans had put in a petition. I think they actually kind of won. I mean, it's still in the books, to get rid of Columbus Day. Like, y'all remember when they tried to get, like, they were trying to get rid of Columbus Day, and you know what? I actually agree with them. Like, why are we celebrating this dude who was literally, 1, a liar, 2, this guy was a mass murderer, a huge, one of the biggest colonizers in the world. Why does he have a day? I bet you Charlie Kirk is not upset about that.
Good point. And he waited to the disrespect. This man waited to Juneteenth to have this video posted. But anyway, Continuing.
Because they say, oh, Charlie, you against the emancipation of slaves? Of course we're not against that, because that's not what this is about. This is a summertime competitor to create multiple Independence Days to further deteriorate, erode, and destroy the celebration of our actual Independence Day. I tweeted this out in 2021. In 2021, I tweeted out, making Juneteenth a federal holiday isn't about emancipation of slaves. If it was, they would make September 22nd, Emancipation Proclamation Day, a federal holiday. This is about replacing July 4th, just like the 1619 Project
This
is about
dude is
replacing
so irate and
1776.
so mad. He couldn't even say proclamation right. He added like 2 additional letters. Emancipation Proclamation. What is that? He was so irate. He couldn't even say the word right. Did y'all catch that?
Oh God.
I didn't actually.
Like, run it back and you can hear it. Like, he said Emancipation Proclamation. Like, what is that?
This is outrageous.
I tweeted out, making Juneteenth a federal holiday isn't about emancipation of slaves. If it was, they would make September 22nd, Emancipation Proclamation Day, a federal holiday. It's about replacing July 4th, just like the 16th.
Oh God.
He is so mad he couldn't even say the word right. He was trying to sound like Ben Shapiro. You know, when they start talking, like, you know, you push the fast forward button on the remote. That's what he was trying to do. And I tend to know a lot of them do that a lot. So imagine if you had this video sped up. Man, he would be out here sounding like a chipmunk.
He would. That's funny. I'm glad you caught that. Yeah, he did. He's so irate. Can't even read his damn notes that he wrote down for this thing. He wrote this down for this, and he can't even read them right.
1619 Project is about replacing 1776. Conservatives must reject this. So, yeah, I mean, if they want to make an Emancipation Day, just make September 22nd a federal holiday. But now we have a full week of Juneteenth festivities. A full week.
Stop.
We have a whole month during Pride Month.
Just stop it. Oh, my God. Week? Where did you get a week from? Juneteenth is only one day. A week? Are you kidding me? It's people that would still be firing off fireworks the day after, 2 days after the 4th. Listen, we all know it. After the 4th, you still hear people on the 5th, the 6th, the 7th still firing off because they got to shoot off the leftovers because they bought so much. They probably didn't fire all of them off. So what is he talking about? A week? We only do this for one day. He is so mad over one day and talking about some Emancipation Proclamation Day on the 22nd. That does nothing for us. And I bet you if they did make that a day, he'll come right back on his platform in September talking about why did they make this a day? Because you said so, you idiot. And by the way, in case y'all didn't know, Donald Trump actually was going to try to make Juneteenth a federal holiday before the Biden administration did it. Y'all can look that up. He actually was going to plan on doing that if he got back in office. It's documented. So it's amazing how they don't bring up how Donald Trump wanted to do that first before the Biden administration ended up doing it. But see, he couldn't do it because it was that time of getting ready to possibly be reelected. So he couldn't, it wasn't like it was something he could do. But he initially said, I want to make Juneteenth a federal holiday.
I would say, you guys know that Labor Day is in September, right?
Yeah.
So if they changed the holiday to make it in September, he would say that would be supplanting Labor Day. That the Emancipation Proclamation Day is there only to supplant Labor Day. Yes. It's always going to be something. He would come up with something, no matter what day, what month, he would come up with something to have an issue with.
That's why I said it's funny. You know, this is like I feel like I'm doing one of my breakdown videos right now because this is exactly how I would be acting. Like right how I am right now with this video right here.
All right, continuing.
At some point, you got to wonder, and the answer to the question is actually very simple. Why do these people need so much celebration? Why do these people need so many rituals? And the answer is super simple. It's because they're not religious. Well, they're religious in their own way, but those of us that go to church, we're part of something. Those of us that, if you're an observant Jew, So if you completely secularize your society, like I need to be involved in something, so you just start to create this pagan garbage.
So
gotta
are you
wonder
trying
what
to say
percentage of
that
the population
Juneteenth
really-
is like witchcraft now? Because he said rituals. I don't know about y'all. I got to ask the panel and ask the people in the chat. Did any of y'all go to any type of ritual today? Did y'all like put rocks in a circle and start standing around holding hands and cutting your hands and putting your hands together like this and calling up to whoever to come down, like, you know, using your spirit? Did any of y'all walk on water today?
Nope.
Did your water turn into wine? Did you part a sea? Because I don't know. I'm lost here. This is how you know that the typical white supremacist is delusional. Like you're looking at it right here. This is how many of them think. And the crazy part about it is when you look at the comment section of any video they post on YouTube or tweet that they put on to Twitter, you have all them people down there saying, you are so right. Oh my God, you are such a genius. You are such an intellect. Charlie Kirk 2024. Like literally, like when you see that, like it's like, that's why I say I don't know who's worse. The people who put the stuff out there or the people who listen and try to regurgitate it. Like, who are you talking to?
Well, he regurgitates their talking points, so he speaks for them. He's their mouthpiece. So, you know, one thing I love to do is I love to sit back, you know, even though this is painful, I love to sit back and just listen to white supremacists talk. I really do love to, you know, sit back and listen to that. Question: Charlie Kirk, Turning Points USA. Is he Jewish?
I don't know. But one thing I want to know is
he mentioned Christianity, so he probably isn't. He mentioned Christianity.
If
and that's another thing. If you see
church,
Christianity in their bios, yeah, that's another telltale sign.
If not going to the church was a problem, if apparently this is because of the lack of people not going to church, is the 4th of July, is that a lack of people not going to church as well too? Because the 4th of July is not a religious holiday.
It really isn't.
So why is their non-religious holiday okay, but our non-religious holiday that's not okay?
I'm stuck in the part where he's talking about like we doing rituals. I didn't do one ritual today.
Look, in a couple of years, they're gonna be out like, you know, on Juneteenth, black people just go out and start killing random white people.
But that's what
they do.
But that thing about him saying something about ritual, that actually has like, you know, historical negative stereotypes, because they always said that if black people were doing stuff like voodoo, then they were into witchcraft. So when he puts stuff out there like they're doing rituals and like, you know, holding seances and stuff, then it must be some kind of thing where we're going to use something. And like, Charlie, ain't nobody thinking about you. Nobody trying to come and get no head off of your recessive ass head and put it on a doll and poke pins in it. No one's thinking about you.
That's true. Real talk. Continuing.
Cares about whole week to Juneteenth? The answer is not many people. I remember one of the criticisms somebody said is, oh, Charlie, you're so angry that there's another federal holiday. Like, oh, you get another day off. It's just a silly argument. We know what happens. And it happened in Tempe last year, and it's going to happen. You see these ridiculous Juneteenth flags start to pop up. They held this a week early because they know it doesn't compete with July 4th. And they can't get close to it. And July 4th is one of the most significant events in human history.
So there it is right there. And I'm glad it's at the end, because I was about to interject and it's at the end. So that's what it is for him. He feels that Juneteenth is competing with July 4th, and he's upset about it. He was fine with Juneteenth being originally what I call a low-key holiday that only we knew about. But the minute they made it a federal thing, he's upset because he's afraid it's going to supersede July 4th. Charlie, it just became a federal holiday 2 years ago. July 4th has been around since 1776. I highly doubt a holiday that's been around since a few centuries is going to lose to a holiday that's now been federalized for only 2 years. Get over yourself. And while you're at it, go take a shower because you look like you bathe in Miracle Whip. Y'all got it. I think I said all I need to say.
Hey, the Torian's going off. That's if y'all not subscribed to him, what are y'all doing?
Right.
Anybody else have anything to say? Because after this, we're getting to the game, a very special game. I invented it. Okay,
Afro been ready for that game, boy.
Right. I feel like we about to get wrecked, but okay.
Afro been waiting to get that game.
Right.
I've been waiting on this game all day. Okay, all damn day, and we're about to play, and we're about to have a lot of fun. But before any ZZ Black Alpha says, y'all got anything to say about Charlie Kirk?
I'll say something real quick about this clown dude. The main thing is funny because he's mad at black people, but that's really some left-right stuff. That's Joe Biden and all the Democrats who made that a little symbolic day. At the end of the day, when it comes to foundational Black Americans, I'll be honest with you, most of us would prefer Juneteenth, like you said, Torian, to be a low-key holiday.
Yeah, a lot of us were mad that it turned into a federal holiday because we didn't ask for it. And see, and that goes back to what I was saying, when we are mad about something versus when they are. See, we didn't want it to be a federal holiday because we knew it would get hijacked. Look at all the stuff that they have attached and leached onto Juneteenth. And look at like all the stuff that's going on this month. You got to think, June is Black Music Month. It is quote unquote Pride Month, Father's Day, and Juneteenth. And Father's Day was yesterday. So it's like June has a lot of stuff, but whenever it comes to stuff that's specifically for us, a lot of stuff gets attached to it and it becomes something that's unrecognizable. That's why we didn't want them to federalize it. Charlie Kirk is talking about he don't want to federalize because it's going to compete with July 4th. The delusion is real. It's not going to compete with July 4th. You still going to have your day. You still going to go to your potluck and have the potato salad with the raisins in it. Don't worry, Charlie. When you wake up in the morning, you will still be the white racist piece of shit that you have been since the day you were born. You will be fine.
Tell them.
I have a proposition for Charlie Kirk. How about this? How about we do away with Juneteenth and you give us our reparations? How about that, Charlie?
I'm down for that, brother.
You can keep the Juneteenth, right? And give us our cash.
He about to make a retraction. He said, you know what? Maybe there is something to this Juneteenth thing.
All right. Okie doke. I'm just gonna do this right quick. Now, starting off, since people are going in order, I'm gonna be the host of the game. I'm not playing the game with them. But we have to know what order we're gonna take this in. So, in order to do that, I put people's names in this list randomizer. Okay. So when I press this button, it's going to randomize the list, and whoever is first, second, third, fourth, that's where it goes. Okay, so everybody knows I'm not being biased. I am being completely fair. There could be nothing more fair than this. This is a machine. All right. So without any further ado, let's go. Hold on, let me see. Okay, so it goes Torian is first, Sage is second, Black Alpha is third, and ZZ is fourth.
Yes.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to play a brand new game that I made up. I'm so proud. My heart is beating so fast right now. Y'all don't understand. I came up with the first, and hopefully this will become a tradition. But the very first, let me pull this up. Before we go, I'm going to show you guys the prize for winning or getting a certain amount of points. You have to get 100 points to win the prize, and the prize comes from me. I personally will send you the new design of the FBA red, white, and blue shirt. So whoever in this game, and there could be multiple winners, whoever gets 100 points, everybody can win if they get 100 points. And there's enough for everybody. Whoever can get 100 points will be shipped this shirt from me. And for the audience who's looking at it in envy, you guys can go to the link and you guys can get it. It's 15% off today. The sale ends today. Okay. So you guys know what the prize is. All right. Now I'm going to introduce the game. So we are going to play. Computer stop. We're going to play. Hold on. Where is it? We are going to play the very first FBA Jeopardy.
Well, I have a feeling it was a Jeopardy game, but I didn't want to like jump the gun though.
Yes. This is the first FBA Jeopardy of all time. The most fantastic game, period. All right, let me move the logo out the way because the logo is kind of blocking that a little bit. So we have 5 different categories. Now, in order to win the prize, you have to get 100 points. Now, as you can see, it goes 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Easily, you can get over 100 points. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to start in the order of Torian, then Sage, then Black Alpha, then ZZ. You pick a category, then you pick a number. I'm going to go to it. You're going to get the question, and you have 7 seconds to answer the question. If you don't answer the question in 7 seconds, or if you get the answer wrong, then it will get passed on to the next person. If you get the answer correct, you get to go again with any category of your choice. After 2 questions, even if you both get them right, then we'll move on to the next person. So everybody will have a fair chance to play. Now, I did this. I kind of made it easy. Hopefully it's going to be fun. Hopefully next year, now that people can see it and think about it or whatever the case is, they can add more stuff to it. But since this is the first time and I didn't want to like hit y'all with the super heavy questions because none of you knew about this game. None of you knew, so none of you had any time to prepare or anything like that. I wanted to be fair and give just some questions that I feel you guys would get fairly easily. Okay, so our very first FBA Jeopardy tradition on Juneteenth. Starting off with our good brother Torian. So Torian, you pick your category and then you pick what number of points that you want to go for.
I'm gonna do FBA music for 10.
FBA music for 10.
You knew I was going there.
Me too.
Okay. Now, 7 seconds. Name the number 1 selling album of all time.
Thriller.
And it is Thriller by Michael Jackson. So Torian gets 10 points. All right, let me just write that down. 10 points there. Going back. Now, Torian, you go again. 7 seconds after I answer. Give the name the question.
Okay. I'll do FBA figures for 10.
FBA figures for 10. In 1977, who was the first person to die in the Revolutionary War? 7 seconds.
Crispus Attucks.
Crispus Attucks for another 10 points. So Torian is up to 20 points. Now we're going to move on to Sage.
FBA music for 20.
Hold on. You guys see it, right? Hold on. FBA music for 20. I knew Sage was going to get on with the music. Okay, FBA music.
That's why I went to another category because I know he wanted that music.
Okay, FBA music for 20 points. All right. The song F the Police came from
NWA.
What rap group? NWA. Sage for 20 points. Okay. Next category. Or you can be in the same category. It doesn't matter.
FBA music for 30.
You just go hog them all, huh? FBA music for 30
points.
points.
This house, I know ZZ about to steal it. So no.
Okay.
No.
What was Tupac's most successful song? 7 seconds.
Love.
You said what?
California Love.
California Love is correct.
Nice.
So
I
Sage,
definitely wasn't gonna say that. If that was my question.
Sage with 50 points. Black Alpha, you can go.
I'll take FBA music for 50. Alex, I mean,
Out of here.
FBA music for 50 points. All right.
This better be home.
The first black artist to own his master records. 7 seconds.
Sam Cooke.
Incorrect.
Oh, damn.
ZZ, you got it. You can get a chance to steal.
For real?
Time out. We'll skip that. We'll go back to that one. But now ZZ gets to pick another category.
Egregious. Let me do FBA quotes for 10.
FBA quotes for 10. The term foundational Black American was coined by who?
Tariq Nasheed.
Tariq Nasheed. ZZ for 10 points. Okay. Now you get to go again.
Let's do FBA quotes again for 20.
FBA quotes for 20. Quote, when we come to Washington in this campaign, we're coming to get our check.
Martin Luther King.
No.
Martin Luther King.
Oh, I'm gonna let that go. Whoa! If you said his whole name,
right?
That would have been it. That would have been it.
Why are you playing dirty, Sage?
Okay. All right.
Malcolm Luther King. All right, ZZ, I got you.
So ZZ for 20 points, giving her a total of 30 points. Now circling back to Tori.
Okay, give me FBA achievements for 10.
FB achievements for 10. The black inventor, this black inventor is best known adding the carbon filament, making the light.
Oh my God.
Usable.
God, isn't that? Oh my God.
5 seconds.
That is.
Time's up. Sage, you can steal. You have a possibility to steal.
Lewis Latimer. Who is Lewis Latimer?
Who is Lewis Latimer? Lewis Latimer is correct.
Yes, sir.
With Sage getting another 10 points. Sage, and now you get to pick.
Let's go to FBA history for 30.
FBA history for 30. The Nation of Islam was founded in what city? 7 seconds.
Chicago.
Incorrect. Black Alpha, you get to steal. Hold on, let me go back.
Damn, I thought it was that. Thanks, Sage. New York.
5 seconds. You said what?
New York.
Oh.
Incorrect. ZZ, you get to steal.
Can you bring that back around?
Detroit?
Yep.
Detroit for 30 points.
I knew she was gonna get it.
Okay.
I should have said Detroit.
So I guess ZZ, it's on you now.
Let's do FBA figures for 20.
FBA figures for 20. This person is known for freeing enslaved black people from the plantations through the Underground Railroad.
Miss Harriet Tubman.
Harriet Tubman is correct. Another 20 points.
ZZ got about 100 now. She need to get up out of this, man. Just get up out of here, man.
Okay, these you get to pick one more.
Let's do FBA history for 20.
FBA history for 20.
Yeah.
Hold on. I don't know what's going on. It's not clicking for some reason. I don't know what's going on. Hold on for a second, y'all. Hold on. See, they got to do this to me. Now it's all frozen up.
Not when I get this close.
I'm mad. I should have had that Lewis Latimer one. And the thing is, it was right there, and I was like, I said, if I say Thomas Edison on here, I'm gonna get roasted. So I said, I was like, it's not him. I almost said Con Ed. I said, no, that's the name of the electric company.
You said ComEd. Torian.
Go back to that music masters questions. Nobody answered that, and I didn't get the chance. And that's a $50 question, so I'm about to go back to that. I'm just letting you know right now. I already know the answer.
As you should.
I'm stealing.
Okay, well, since that's not, if that's an issue, what we're gonna do is, since you said FBA history for 20 points, right? I'm gonna have to pull this up manually, so not to show the answer. Okay, here we go, manually pulling this up. First time, we got to make it. We got to make it work. How we do now? Share screen again. Oh boy.
Now, my brother Torian, the dude that's about to get a whole Pulitzer Prize for his groundbreaking series of black massacres, was about to say Con Edison. I don't understand, bro. I don't understand.
I'll be honest, that name floated in my head, but I was like, no, I can't say that because that's definitely the name of the electric company, not
ZZ. Is your turn, and here we go. Juneteenth originated on what year for 20 points? 7 seconds. 4, 3.
1865.
June 19th, 1865. Okay, for another 20 points.
Hey.
All right, let me go back. Now we'll let you pick again.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Okay. FBA quotes for 30. FBA quotes. No, I said quotes. Okay,
hold on. You said quotes. Yeah. Okay.
No, we can do it. We can do achievement. We can do achievement. That's fine.
Okay. The first, the black first self-made millionaire is 7.
Damn, I said this was okay because I just had a name. What's her name? Madam C.J. Walker.
Madam C.J. Walker.
I wanted your time to run out.
Okay. Since ZZ, you clearly got well over 100 points. If you would be so gracious to let other people earn a chance, I'm sure they would appreciate that. Since Black Alpha, your turn was kind of skipped a little bit. We'll let you go. Black Alpha, you get to go ahead.
FBA quotes for 50.
FBA quotes for 50. He's going for the big ones. All right. FBA quotes for 50. Let me pull that up. FBA quotes for 50. Quote, I won't rest until black children are taught to love themselves as themselves.
Damn, Afro, you made that tough, man. Damn.
5 seconds.
Malcolm X.
Incorrect.
Damn.
Torian, you get to steal.
The same one. Oh my god.
The 50s ain't no joke.
We're gonna let you. We'll, because that's not really fair. We'll let you pick your own. If you want to steal, you can.
Let me see. We can do FBA achievements for 20.
FBA achievements for 20. On a mission to change the image of black manhood, I meant this man. This man sat for more than 160 portraits and photos. 5 seconds.
Basquiat? I don't know. I don't know.
Correct.
He's not even FBA, bro.
You're right.
What the hell?
Incorrect. Sage, you get to steal or pick another one.
I'll pick another one.
Okay.
FBA history for 20.
FBA history for 20. Oh, ZZ already answered that one. That was
okay, not a problem. Let's do FBA figures for 30.
FBA figures for 30. In 1966, which two people started the Black Panther Party?
Who is Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale?
Huey Newton and Bobby Seale for 30 points. All right. So Sage is coming up there. He's about to get himself a shirt. You get to go ahead again.
FBA figures for 40.
FBA figures for 40. This journalist and activist led an anti-lynching crusade in the 1890s.
Who was Ida B. Wells?
Ida B. Wells is correct. All right. Sage for another 40 points. Now, Black Alpha, you get to go.
Music for 40.
Music for 40. In 1977, she became the record holder for the most Hot 100 chart appearances by a female artist. Her name is...
God damn.
5 seconds.
Aretha Franklin.
Aretha Franklin.
Good
40
job.
points. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now you get to pick another one. Now, mind you, 50 is still on the table. It's grayed out, but that's still...
I'm going to come back to that. I want that.
Whoa. Hold on now. Whoa. Say that again.
50 is still available.
Oh, give me that 50 then. Let's go ahead.
Okay, going for
Go.
50.
We own it.
Go ahead, bro.
The first Black
hold on.
artist to own his master...
That's the one you... Exact. No.
Yeah, and that's the one you got wrong too.
Hold on. Wait. Hold on now.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Yep.
Prince.
Incorrect.
Damn.
Damn, ZZ, it's on you again. Lord, she is just killing the game
If
here.
you get this right, ZZ, I quit. I'm done.
I was about to click it and do that one again, but I don't know if the answer I got is right. I'm kind of scared. So I'm gonna go with FBA quotes for 40.
FBA quotes for 40. Quote, a ballot is like a bullet. You don't throw your ballots until you see a target. And if that target is not within your reach, keep your ballot.
Is that Malcolm X?
Correct. That is Malcolm X. He is just killing the game. I'm surprised you didn't say Malcolm Luther King X. Like you did last time.
Martin X.
Okay. ZZ, you got it again.
Okay. Let's do FBA history for 20. Let's do that.
You already did that one. That's supposed
Oh,
to be
those are
right.
those?
Yeah.
Let's do FBA cheat. I kind of want to try the FBA music. I ain't gonna hold you. Let's do FBA. Do I want to do that one? Did we use that name yet? Let's try it. FBA music for 50.
FBA music for 50.
I think I guessed this name.
The first Black artist to own his master record.
Is it
5 seconds.
Michael Jackson?
Incorrect.
Did we say Michael Jackson already?
I don't know.
Yeah, we said Michael Jackson.
Damn it. I had a feeling. I'm like, this might say
Yeah.
Torian,
I'm gonna try the FBA music for 50.
Everybody's
I'm gonna try it.
Throw that my way. Throw that my way.
the first Black artist to own his own master record.
I'm gonna say Sam Cooke.
I can say that.
Incorrect.
That's my first answer.
Why is that?
Get it?
This is a big
Okay,
mystery.
now-
I can't wait to see what this was going to be.
Oh, no. Okay, y'all ready?
Yeah.
Who is Ray Charles Robinson?
Oh my God.
Ray Charles.
I almost said Ray Charles. That's crazy.
Really? I'm disappointed.
I should have said Ray Charles.
All right, Sage, you get another one.
Okay, let's do FBA history for 50. I got to catch up to Gigi. I don't know how much she got. She got like
FBA
200.
history for 50.
Let's do it.
Name the first HBCU. That's a hard one.
Mm.
5 seconds.
North Carolina A&T?
Incorrect.
Fuck.
Black Alpha, you get to steal.
Oh shit. Grambling.
Incorrect, but since it's your turn, you get to pick.
FBA quotes for 30.
FBA quotes for 30. You can kill a revolutionary,
Fred Hampton.
but you can never kill Fred Hampton. Fred Hampton is correct. Black Alpha, 30 points. Now you get to go again.
FBA figures for 50.
FBA figures for 50. The Seminole War is successful largely due to the leadership of who?
Group of people or person. The Maroons?
No, this is one individual. I'll let you pass.
Damn.
His name is 5 seconds.
VC.
Denmark
Incorrect.
VC. Yeah, Denmark VC. Yeah.
Incorrect. Okay. Shout out to Tariq for the somebody say Tariq Nasheed. No,
Yeah.
Throw that over here.
Somebody said
Throw that
Tariq.
here. What's going on? Pass that on.
Okay. Sage, you get to steal or go ahead and ask another one.
Who is John Horse?
Who is John Horse? Sage for 50 points. All right. Sage, you get to go again.
Let's do FBA achievements for 40.
FBA achievements for 40. The Black Panthers free breakfast program for children, free breakfast program, launched on what date?
Man.
5 seconds.
That should have been a 50.
Christmas. Oh.
Christmas. Incorrect. Incorrect. Black Alpha, you get to steal or you get to pick.
Man, I'm gonna pick. Forget that. I ain't touching that one.
What the hell? What's up?
I was gonna say Juneteenth. Nah. FBA history for 40.
FBA history. I don't think anybody's answered the 51, so you know that's still on the board. But FBA history for 40.
Okay, yeah.
What year was the Underground Railroad started?
Man, I don't.
He's getting the hardest questions every time.
Right.
Man, Juneteenth.
I had to give y'all some hard questions.
Talk about it some easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just no, I'm sorry, y'all. All right. Let me see. ZZ, you get to steal or go ahead. No, damn, ZZ,
I don't know.
Give Black Alpha another pass. Black Alpha Oratorian.
I don't know what
you and Sage are kind of good the way I'm seeing.
I'm definitely passing on.
Okay.
FBA history. What was that? 50?
That was 40.
I don't even.
That was a 40 question. Jesus.
Right. So that 50 is gonna be
right. Did we do FBA achievement 50? Let me do that one now.
FBA achievements for 50. The last slave to live, dying at 130 years old. His name was 5 seconds. Time's up. Time's up.
Go ahead, say Morgan Freeman. Go ahead.
Okay. Torian, you get to steal or you get to go
I
ahead.
am picking a different one. I will not be stealing that
Which
one.
one was that though? Remember which one
That was
okay?
FBA achievements for 40.
Okay,
We have
remember-
FBA achievements for 40, 50, FBA history for 40 and 50.
No, which
I
one
would
that
take
did you
the-
just pick?
And we have, FBA history for 10.
I'll take that FBA history for 10.
FBA history for 10. What year did Martin Luther King give the I Have a Dream speech?
1963.
1963 for 10 points. He was like, I'm playing it safe.
What else did you say was left for FBA history?
FBA history, we have 40, 50, and then FBA achievements, we have 40 and 50.
I'm gonna take a risk on that FBA history for 50 because I don't think anyone touched that one yet.
Now that's the one I just chose.
Oh no! Oh.
Okay.
Wait.
You said it. No. Take it. Because all you're gonna do is pass it to me, and I want it. So take it. Yep. Go ahead.
So FBA, what you said, history or achievements?
Achievements.
FBA achievements for what?
50.
50. The last slave to live, I meant live, the typo. The last slave to live, dying at 130. His name is
Percy Earl.
What?
Incorrect. Incorrect.
He said that with conviction too.
Right.
You know what?
I'll take that.
Yeah. Sage, why don't you let Black Alpha? Because you and ZZ clearly y'all got y'all shirts, unless y'all trying to buy for the whole family.
Go ahead, Black.
Let's let Black Alpha go ahead and try that. Go ahead.
I want to be
I
dramatic.
want there to be multiple winners if they can be.
I want to be dramatic. Read it to me again.
Okay.
He said, I want to be dramatic. That means he already know what it is.
That's not the one.
I ain't touching that one.
50.
I don't want that one either.
The last slave to live, dying at 130. His name is
Sylvester McGee.
Sylvester McGee.
There we go.
For 50 points. Black Alpha got 50. All right. He's coming up. All right. Now you get to pick again.
What's left?
100.
Now we have FBA achievements for 40, FBA history for 40 and 50.
Oh man, give me a FBA history. What was the one with the Black Panther? Because I don't want that one. I want anything other than that.
I can't tell you which one that was. Sorry.
That's not gonna get answered.
Give me FBA history for 40, unless it's the Black Panther one. Then I don't want it.
No, don't click that.
Once I click into it, you can answer.
Okay, no backtrack. Okay, here we go. Let's go.
What year was the Underground Railroad started?
I messed that up again. Hold on. It was 18. I have no goddamn clue.
You got to be more specific than that, brother.
1862.
Incorrect. Incorrect. Torian, you got it.
Which ones are left?
We have FBA achievements for 50, and then we have FBA history for 40 and 50.
No, Afro, I think we got FBA achievement for 40, I believe. That's the Black Panther one.
Hold on, 40, that's the Black Panther? Okay, yeah, 40, yeah.
Don't touch that one. I ain't touching it.
I'll try for the 40. I would try for the 40.
Which one? The history?
The FBA achievement, yes.
FBA achievements for 40.
I'm going to guess and say 1969.
That's correct.
Oh man!
And that was a guess. And that was a guess.
No. He said 1969. He didn't even give a month.
It said. Listen to
that.
Look at say trying to.
He didn't even give a month. I was gonna say that.
The way I gauge it, because I remember how when the Black Panther Party started in '66, so it had to be after that, but it couldn't be too far ahead either because it was very early on. But yeah, that was a whoo. Okay, what's left?
Okay, now you have the last two is FBA history for 40 and 50.
FBA. We're gonna try for that 40 again. I mean, it's inevitable. I mean, we're gonna be going around this all night.
What year was the Underground Railroad started? The year, yeah.
I am gonna say
I was happy.
1855.
1855 is incorrect. Black Alpha, do you want to steal?
No.
Okay, Black Alpha, you can go ahead. If not, then I'm trying to give y'all, but then we're gonna have to go to the clear winners already. So they just hogging it all up. They don't want y'all to get a share.
We don't want that. We good. We good. You keep that yourself. Go ahead, man. We good.
Black Alpha, you got it.
What was it again? What was left?
You have FBA history for 40 and 50.
Give me 50.
I think all of the. Oh no, you also have FBA quotes for 50 as well too.
Give me the quotes for 50.
FBA quotes for 50. Quote: I won't rest until Black children are taught to love themselves as themselves. 5 seconds.
Dr. Francis Cress Wilson.
Dr. Francis Cress Wilson is correct.
There we go.
All right, that's Black Alpha. So Black Alpha has the points. All right. So now we have FBA history.
This one. These two. These two.
Oh, that's me? Who that is?
Yeah, that's you.
That's you.
Man, give me the railroad one again, man.
Railroad one again.
Okay, so Torian said the Black Panthers, he went 1969. I'm going to go 1869 for this.
1869
whoa.
1859.
Not too late. 1869. Slavery was already over. You know, it was over. It was over for 4 years. Like, come on. The railroad was closed by that time.
There was no need for the railroad at that point.
I tried. I'm sorry. I tried to help.
All right. Torian, you get to go ahead.
Oh, let's stick on that railroad. We're gonna get this one. We're gonna try to get this one. Okay. I'm gonna say 1831.
Close but not correct. Hold on. I correct unless I'm incorrect. Hold on. Let me check and see. Hold on. What year? Hold on. Let me see something.
Hold up. Let's find out the host messed up. Then we can just get these points by default. You know, having us go through these questions a whole bunch of times and he ain't even had it right.
I know it. I will give y'all a hint. It was in the 1830s.
All right, y'all still start working your way up.
Right.
He said 31. Okay, start working your way up.
What year did you say again?
I said 1831.
1831. Let's see. You know what? I'm gonna just give it. I'm gonna say 1831 since that's the closest. It was 1831.
Thank you.
I knew
Oh
it
my
was
God.
Look, I didn't say it was wrong. Hold on, Tori. I didn't say it was wrong, brother. I said I knew it was the 1830s. Just had to double check.
Oh my God. Are you serious right now?
Look, nobody said that. Nobody said anything in the 1830s. I just had to make sure it was 1831 because I forgot, damn it. I knew it was 1830 something. I'm hearing so many numbers. You know, 1869 threw me off. So you know what I'm saying.
Listen.
All right. Torian, you have it.
What is the last one?
The last one is FBA history for 50. Name the first HBCU.
I'm gonna say Clark Atlanta.
Incorrect.
Okay.
Sage, you get it.
What?
I mean, you can't lose points. I mean, you just playing for fun at this point.
Points. Sage.
Texas Western.
Incorrect.
Texas Western. My God.
Black Alpha, you got it.
Bethune-Cookman.
Incorrect.
You might as well keep it going. That's the only one. You might as well keep it going.
Howard.
Incorrect. Or just name. I will do it easier because this is a very hard one. Just name the city it's in.
The city?
Yeah.
That's even harder.
Can I do it like
I mean, yeah, either one.
Can I do it like
Cincinnati?
Let's stick with the school because I can.
Okay, hold on.
Like,
go back to Torian.
Okay. Hampton.
Incorrect.
I'm gonna do like the tellers do.
No. It's Xavier.
Incorrect.
Damn.
Spelman.
Incorrect.
Damn, that's what I was gonna guess next.
I shouldn't have said Spelman. I should have said Morehouse. Somebody say Morehouse.
Tuskegee.
No, that's incorrect.
Oh damn. Morgan.
Incorrect. I knew this was gonna be the hardest question here, so that's why I made it 50 points. Damn, should have made it 100 points to be honest.
Did we get the state? Can we do the state? It was.
Can you do the state? No, you can do the city, but you can't do the state.
Okay.
Okay. Is it my go?
Yeah, it's your go.
Cheney University.
Channing University.
That says Lincoln University. What in the world?
Yeah. I meant Channing, but that's correct.
Oh my God.
But it's in Pennsylvania. That is second. Look,
now,
don't beat me up.
In all due disclosure, right? All due disclosure, you can take the points away. That's fine. But my friend texted me that, and he watching. And he went to HBCU.
Yeah.
So you know.
So Sage been cheating on the low. That's what it is. No wonder you've been getting these damn questions correct. You and ZZ. ZZ got a twin sister over there
on the other side of the damn camera talking about, yeah, this the answer. What?
Yeah, 1831. Wow. 1831.
1831.
Wow.
So let's count all the points up. Let's count all the points. All right, Torian, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the points. I'm gonna add all of the points and what they were worth. You had 3 10 points.
I must say this game was extremely fun. We need to do this way more.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was.
That was hella fun.
I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it. And hopefully this can start to become a thing. Hopefully it was educational. Torian, counting all of his points together,
70.
Got 110 points.
Okay.
So he had
some 70.
Give himself his FBA shirt. Sage, Lord have mercy. It was gonna take a while.
He got a shirt. We know he got a shirt.
Sage got, boy, he was cheating on the low, but we're gonna let him pass. And he confessed to it. He's not even lying. Sage got 200 points. So he's definitely well above it. He's definitely going to get his prize. I ain't sending you 2 shirts, Sage, because you was cheating. So you ain't getting 2.
No, that's not fair. No. I'm calling. You know what? I'm calling somebody. I don't know. Who can I call? I'm calling. You know, I'm calling Professor Black Truth on your ass. Hold on, what is that?
Damn, don't do that to me, brother. Black Alpha got all together 170 points.
For real? Damn.
Yeah, for real. He's like, damn.
You thought he had 40 points.
Yeah, you got it with that 50.
I was going for the 50s.
Them 50s, yeah. That 50s took you above. Okay.
He said he got 300. Go ahead, say it. Go ahead.
And ZZ, hold on.
312. All right.
I need like a science calculator.
Man, that's not even possible, but yeah.
ZZ got counting that up.
320.
That, and then I gotta carry the 4.
Yeah.
ZZ got 150 points.
Okay.
What Black Alpha got more? I'm shocked. I thought she had way more points.
I put it on the line.
She answered way more. ZZ answered the same amount as Sage, but Black Alpha answered 250 points. That's what took him there. ZZ answered most of the 20 points. So, congratulations. You get one for her and her twin. Ken is in the chat room. Talking about give her 2 shirts. So her and her twin is in the Okay. All right. Okay. I see you, Ken. Ken is always looking out for you. Shout out to brother Ken.
Shout out to Ken. Wait.
All right. You so you all, after the stream, of course, you know, gonna get your information. So I will be shipping you guys your own shirt. Let me show you guys for the audience what the shirt looks like again. You know, hold on, pull this back up. So this is what the shirt looks like. Of course, we have different colors. You know what I'm saying? Different sizes. This is like the male shirt. There's female shirt or whatever. So different colors and different sizes. All right. If you guys, the audience listening, if you guys want to know this, want to have one of these, and you want a 15% off sale, you can get it today. The link is in the description. All right. Don't want to miss out on that. One of a kind. You gotta love it. But
hey, can I give an acceptance speech, man? Since I got 150. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank 1869.
1869.
I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Juneteenth. Charlie Kirk for getting Torian lit up today, and he gave me the energy to be correct, so I appreciate it.
I want to thank Ray Charles for the 50 points that he gave me. Rest in peace to that brother. I'm glad nobody else got that. I think Brother Black said Prince and ZZ said Michael Jackson, so shout out to them for getting it wrong and passing it to me. I want to thank Brother Torian for saying Con Edison, And yeah.
Paige, you need to go ahead and thank your cell phone and that message he was getting.
Right.
I was well over the threshold before I even got that. Okay, I was well over the threshold before I got that. So that doesn't even matter.
Of course.
I was over. I was 150 before I got that. So I was good.
Salute to you, Afro, for putting this together. You better trademark this, man. I'm gonna see
Yeah,
somebody else.
This was definitely fun.
So definitely,
and I'll give you some questions about that music too, because I know we ain't gonna get certain things. Oh yeah, I'm gonna make it real hard.
Yeah, I wanted to do it. I wanted to have it be like a 10 things in each category, but I'm like, nah, let me do it good 5 things in each category. But next time is going to be even bigger and even longer, so we have more of a chance to, you know, pass it off. I'm gonna have like an official timer that goes off or whatever, because I was being gracious. Some of y'all was over the 7 seconds, and I was like, come on, y'all. I was trying to be nice. Oh, whatever.
Hey, let me make a comment real quick, bro. I just gotta say this. You know, in the spirit of Juneteenth, to bring it all back home, man. I thought we didn't have a culture. Because I'll be watching and people say we ain't got no culture. Apparently, we got a real long, rich tradition. The fact that we could all sit here and come up with these answers. You can come up with the questions and we could all name it. So it ain't that bad for people that they say don't have a culture, man. Looks like we got a culture. Because Tethers couldn't play this game. Fleers couldn't play this game. Fleetman couldn't play this game. So it's a salute to us, man. It's all about FBA. Happy Juneteenth, everybody.
Happy Juneteenth. Add double daily double. You know what I'll do next time? What I'll do next time is if somebody passes a question off to another person, if they get that correct, they'll get double points. That's what I'll do for that. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, this is definitely our culture, but you know, we've been on here for a good 2 hours. We broke down some videos, some articles. We had fun, won prizes. And we had a good time for Juneteenth, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. I hope the audience enjoyed it. I hope the panelists enjoyed it. But I will let you guys go. I'll let you guys get your last word out. Shout out to any projects, any social media. And then we're going to, before you guys leave, because we got a lot of super chats we got to shout out. So I'm going to shout out some of the super chats afterwards.
Well, shout out to you, Afro, for putting all of this together. This was definitely quite an event. I didn't even see this just as a stream. It felt like an event. You know, we got out what we had to say, you know, in the beginning, and then we had fun towards the end. So it kind of all came full circle, and we still kept our eyes on the prize and, remain focused. And it was good to also have engagement from the audience as well. This was definitely a very fun, like I said, event. I can't wait for the next one to occur. Hopefully not too far down the line. You know, Charlie Kirk said September 22nd should be Emancipation Proclamation Day. Maybe that's when we should have the next one. You know, maybe that's when we should have the next one on September 22nd. But but on a serious note, this was all fun. You know, shout out to everybody on this panel. They all have something to contribute to FBA. Shout out to everybody that was in the chat that came here. You know, shout out to everybody who came from everyone else's chat, because I know some of y'all shared just the stream with other people to come over to watch. But yeah, I had a very good time. You know, I can't wait for the next one.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Love to have you back. Where can people find you?
Oh, you can find me on here, Torian Rain Reloaded, on Twitter at Torian Rain Reloaded, and on Instagram at Torian_Rain.
Yes, sir. You guys definitely go subscribe and support our brother's YouTube channel. That is in the description below. A lot of you guys are watching on his channel, so you guys are already subscribed. But if you guys aren't, make sure you guys go support our brother Torian Rain on his channel. Who's next? We're not doing the game thing anymore, so we don't have to take turns. Anybody go next? Y'all want to? I know y'all still in order. Like, whose turn is it? I thought it was.
No, this was a wonderful stream. I very much enjoyed this. It's a little unexpected, even though you did tell me about this the day before yesterday, but I wasn't really sure. You were kind of vague on what we're going to be talking about, which was honestly, it was the best thing to do because this was a very good surprise. It's a good thing to do on Juneteenth. Great way to end Juneteenth. Much praise to the ancestors. Shout out to everybody on the panel. You brothers are wonderful, brilliant. We love to see it. Make sure y'all go follow them. We need more FBA brothers, FBA people in general, but definitely some more FBA brothers in the space. Leading the conversation and cultivating more minds in this way. So blessings, very much blessings. Shout out to everybody in the chat, B1, and happy Juneteenth. Y'all can follow me on YouTube at A to Z TV. It's right there.
Okay, thank you very much, sister. We'd love to have you back again soon, very soon. Sage or Black Alpha, which one of you guys want to go?
I'll jump in and make it quick. Blessings again. Thank you to the family for inviting me. Shout out to you, Brother Afro. Thank you for having me. It's such an honor to be up here with all four of you. Brilliant minds. Please, guys, make sure y'all subscribe to them. Get your information from them. They are, all four of them are the new Black media. They are a part of it. I know they don't look at themselves as the big three, but I look at them as that. Okay. They work hard on a daily basis to give us information. I can't thank them enough for inviting me back. Always, always. Much love to all of you. Always. Spoke to my partner today, music partner that is. And we might be having something coming out next month. That's all I'm gonna say. Actually,
that's good. That's what I'm talking about.
So yes, be on the lookout for that. I know he's somewhere in the chat room. No, he's not the one that texts me that. But but we definitely, please be on the lookout for that. You can follow me on Twitter at Sage Station. You can also follow me on IG at Call Him Sage, callhim.sage. And also, family, it's Juneteenth. Spend out with your family. Please learn about FBA culture. Learn about everything that we do. Learn and take pride in what we do. You know, and yeah, with that, I'll end it with Black first, brother. Much love.
Thank you, brother. Love to have you. Love to have you back, man. This has been a blast. Much respect to you. I cannot wait for your music project to launch. You know, I've been bugging you about it. I've been trying to get off your back. I've been bugging you about it.
No, please, come on. I love it. I love it. It's all love. It's always love.
Yeah. Okay. We need a summer album, man. So like, come on. Okay. It's getting hot outside. What we supposed to be bopping to?
I promise you, I got you. I got you.
All right. That's what I'm talking about. Brother Black Alpha, you got it.
First off, I'm going to say thanks to my brother Afro.
Oh, wait, hold on. Before you go, Sage, where can people find you?
Oh, I did that. Okay, you can find me on Instagram at callhim.sage. You can find me on Twitter at Sage Station. Yeah. And everything else there. Oh, you can also get music from me at bogarrecords.com. That's Bogard Records, BOGUARD records.com. You can stream, download all my stuff right there.
All right. Thank you.
Back to you, Brother Black. Sorry about that.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Brother Afro, for the game. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that. Salute to my brother Torian. Salute to my brother Sage. Also to Zizi. I appreciate y'all as always, man. It's always good working with the family. Happy Juneteenth. You know, I think the whole the whole energy involved with this broadcast was basically us just representing ourselves, and that's how we conquer a lot of things. So a lot of the hatred and a lot of the co-opting and stuff, it really just all gets disinvolved by us representing our own. We're very rare people that can stop the nonsense just by being proud. So let's say things with our chest and let's let people know where we are at all times. So I salute to all my brothers and my sister here. You know what I'm saying? And after I wear extra large, brother, you know what I'm saying? So
I get you, brother. I got you.
You know what I'm saying? Until the next one. But everybody's one love to everybody in the chat that listen to us on all the platforms. You can find me, Black Alpha Network, on Twitter, Black Alpha Net W1, on Instagram, Black Alpha Net W1, right here on YouTube. Anywhere where you see that goldfish right there, you'll see me. And anytime you see me, it's gonna be real, it's gonna be authentic, it's gonna be thorough. Might be a little uncut and a little no filtered, but that's the way we.
That's fine. That's fine.
That's what we need.
Yeah, people love it, man. So I'm gonna continue to always speak that real, uncut, no filtered energy of 100%. Oh, and shout out to the brother who told me I got that Tupac energy, man. Tupac, my favorite, man. So I appreciate that. And the DMX compliments that I get all the time. So Those are my two favorites. So salute to the whole family. Salute to the whole team. We are one tonight. Let us be one in the future. Power to all of our people.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I'm going to close it out. I'm going to put y'all, not remove y'all, but I'm going to put y'all down as I close this out. Family, this has been our very first Juneteenth Power Hour that lasted like 2 hours, almost 3 hours. But you know what I'm saying? We have to start our own traditions. That's a part of holidays. Every holiday has to have a tradition. The 4th of July, fireworks, Christmas, you know, Santa Claus gifts, you know what I'm saying? Thanksgiving, the dinner, everything has a tradition to it. We are the culture, so it can't be where we have our holiday and we don't have our own tradition. So let's start making our own tradition. Let's start doing that. And I couldn't have done it without a better panel. I know I couldn't have done it by myself. I can do a lot by myself, but I can't do everything. So I needed these brothers and that sister. It's only one sister, but I needed these brothers and that sister to help me get this done. So shout out to every single last one of them. Shout out to every single last one of you all. I hope you all had a good Juneteenth. You know what I'm saying? The game will come back. It will come back with more categories, more questions, harder questions. Some of them were like really, really easy. Some of them were like super, super hard. And so we're going to have a good balance, a good mix of both. But it was fun. This whole stream was fun. It was lovely. Shout out to every single last one of you guys. Go to the description. Follow all of them on all of their social media, all of their platforms and everything. Come back. Make sure you come back because we have more things coming up on this channel. If you guys are not subscribed, please make sure you guys do so. Also, you can be following me on my various social media pages, which is at Afro Elite on Instagram and at The Afro Elite on Twitter. And with that being said, my brothers and my sisters, be one salute to every single last one of you all. Happy Juneteenth. And of course, you all have a good one.